Hello. I know it's been a while since I have talked to you. I've been sick. I had awful cold, which turned into strep throat, and um, awful cough, just one thing after another, and it's been quite miserable of a winter so far. So, I just haven't felt up to doing much of anything, including um, including my Sun Def journals. Um, but I'm starting to feel better and hope before too long I can get back to doing those. Lately, since I've gotten better, not contagious, I've been playing cards with Mom, usually a couple hours a day. That keeps her mind busy, and mine. We've had a fairly mild winter. Very mild, actually. Sugar. Dang it. Ouch. We don't have very much snow, but there is enough for the skiers and the snowmobilers. I went over to Oak Mountain yesterday and they had a pretty good crowd. I'm bound to spill this if I'm not careful. So I'm happy for the snow people. But I'm also happy that I don't have a lot of plowing to contend with. Not that I plow, Dad plows for me. But it's also, I haven't, with my heart trouble, I don't dare really shovel snow. To any extent. But luckily I can park right outside the door here. So that's what I tend to do. What else is new? Well, my friends Collie and Shirley went to Egypt, and that was, oh, sugar. That was the trip of a lifetime, I guess. They saw everything from the pyramids to Abu Simbel. A trip that I had at one time hoped to make, but it doesn't appear that that's going to be happening. So I look on the bright side. I think about what I do have rather than what I don't, for the most part. really needed cleaning. Yikes. I talked to Cammie a week or so ago. That was fun. I hadn't spoken to her since, I think, the reunion at Notre Dame. Well, I had surgery on my ankle. Got the rest of the hardware taken out, thank God. Oh, almost all of it. There are still 2 screws in there that he couldn't get out. Well, he could have, but he would have had to dug for them. And we didn't want to do that because it wasn't worth the trouble, he says. It still hurts, but it moves a little better than it did, and hopefully it will keep getting better. I had other surgery not too long ago. It's just a plumbing issue. I won't get into the details of that. 4, 5, 6. Interested in the presidential election, of course, as I have been since really 1960. The rest of my family, for the most part, are Republicans, and as you know, children tend to follow their parents until they're old enough to think for themselves. And I remember on the morning of it was a Wednesday in November 1960, I was crying on my way to school because they had just announced that John Kennedy had defeated Richard Nixon for president. And since Mom and Dad thought Kennedy was the end of the world, I did too. But it wasn't. Well, it was for him. And then in '64, I was for Goldwater. And I still have the posters, actually, for Goldwater. They were yellow and black. My surgeon, Dr. Egan, when I saw him, I think it was Friday, when I got the staples out from my last surgery, he said something to the effect that Goldwater would have been our first Jewish president. And I said yes, although he was a Presbyterian, but I believe he has Jewish ancestry. And he said, of course it doesn't matter. And it doesn't really, except in the sense that I like to have that sort of barrier removed. Like when Obama was elected, you know, I don't think his being black really has anything to do with him being a good president or not. But it's nice to be able to say now that that we can no longer say that no black man has been elected president of the United States. And maybe this year, actually, we'll be able to say that a Jewish man has been elected president of the United States. And honestly, right now, I am leaning toward Bernie. He's the only one I've donated any money to. I have serious problems with him. Oddly enough, his position on gun control I think, is the one place where he is disingenuous. He voted against, he voted for the law that makes it, you can't sue gun manufacturers because they make guns. um, I don't know the details of the law, but I think it's stupid to be able to sue a company for somebody misusing their product. And obviously I believe in gun rights, although I'm not a fanatic about it. I am not a member of the NRA, which I think has been taken over by lunatics. Hillary, you know, I want to like her. I actually had a dream about her a couple months ago. I dreamed I ran into her in Washington. She was going down an escalator with Chelsea, and she was crying, and I felt so sorry for her. And I mentioned that I had met Bill and liked him, and thought she would make a good president, which I do. I cannot vote for any of the Republicans. There are things I like about Rand Paul. John Kasich makes sense in a lot of ways, but what it really boils down to is, well, a lot of things. But the thing that is the absolute deal breaker with any of these Republicans is the Supreme Court. I would not trust one of those guys to make a Supreme Court appointment. And Jeb Bush, he just strikes me as the most ridiculous opportunist, feels entitled. You know, he's a Bush, so of course he should be president. Bull. We know what happened the last time we had a Bush for president. Now, I voted for his dad. I voted very enthusiastically for him in 19 what was it? Oh, no, it was 1988. Yeah, I voted for him in 88. I think he was running against Dukakis. And Dukakis, I could not stand that man's voice whining for it, which of course is a stupid reason to vote for president. And that's not why I didn't vote for him, but running for president seems to ruin people. In 88, my first choice was Bob Dole. But somebody's beeping. He just seemed to go crazy. His position on tobacco. He says, well, I don't recall exactly how he put it, but it was something to the effect that tobacco isn't necessarily addictive. Well, I'm living proof that tobacco is not necessarily addictive. At the same time, I have family members who have died from using tobacco, and you know, I have no patience for that line of thinking. Anyway, the way things stand right now, if by the time it gets to the New York primary, I'm going to have to think long and hard about. So I was registered a Republican for many years, but the W made it impossible for me to be even nominally associated with the Republican Party anymore. So that I could vote in a primary in New York State, I registered as a Democrat, because if you're registered as an independent, you're locked out of the primaries. But I'm truly an independent. I believe in strict restrictions on abortion. I'm for gun rights. I'm somewhat fiscally conservative. But I'm also a libertarian. But I don't know how it's going to go. If it gets down to Hillary and Bernie in the primary, I guess my heart is with Bernie, actually. And in any case, I cannot imagine voting for any of the Republicans. Donald Trump is a joke. It scares me that so many people would even think of voting for that guy. But there it is. Well, I'm running on, so I will see you later. Bye-bye.